Hello there and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now, as I hope you know, it's my journey here to help steer you on that path to Chap Nirvana. And I invite you to ask me any question you want when you seek the neutral observations from a gentleman with a little bit of sartorial knowledge but a lot of passion in that area. And that's really what I'm here to do. And I've got a question today about wedding attire from a gentleman called Niall. Now he says, I have a wedding coming up soon in Vietnam where I will be a groomsman. It's an important point because a groomsman, you're going to play an integral and visual part of that ceremony. You're going to be seen. And it's been many years since Niall's been to a wedding, since he was a child, and he was unsure what to wear. He's asked the groom, and the groom has merely said, anything you like as long as it's smart. Now Vietnam is warm, he's aware of that, and he was wondering what to wear and perhaps any shops that I can steer him towards from which to make his purchase. Now another important thing is his budget is £200, maybe a shade higher if the suit can be worn on other occasions. So first of all, thanks for your question, Niall. I'll certainly try and help you here today. And congratulations, you're heading to a wedding, a holiday as well by the sound of it, in a lovely part of the world, Vietnam, and you've got a lot to look forward to. But I understand your anxiety because you're going to be in a ceremony in which clearly people are going to direct their attention towards you. And the last thing you want is the embarrassment, the mortification of looking out of place in a situation where everybody else will be dressed perhaps in a certain way and you're fearful you're going to look a fool. I totally get it. We've all been there. And you've done the right thing to discovering what to do, right? Because you've contacted the groom. And if I must say, I don't think the groom has been very helpful at all by merely responding by saying, dress however you like, except make it smart. Because that is tantamount to saying nothing at all, isn't it, in essence? So let me give you what my take on dressing well would be. Oh, and just a point here, if you're ever a groom in a situation like this and one of your guests contacts you and asks for a direction in how they should dress, please be a bit more descriptive than saying anything you like as long as it's smart. Now, first of all, let's look at the environment that you're going to, because this is going to be a big part in your decision-making process. Now, I have to admit, I have never been to Vietnam as yet. I have, however, been to the neighbouring country of Thailand on a number of occasions. And I guess, looking at the map, they're quite sort of, close to each other. The climate's going to be the same. And my recollection was Thailand was ferociously hot. It was a heavy and humid environment. And depends on the time of year you go, but it could be also exceptionally damp as well, adding to the humidity, the monsoon season. So this really does impact the way that we want to dress. We also want to think culturally, all right? So I don't know if the gentleman who's getting married is a Vietnamese person himself, but if he is, we want to be at least, tip and nod to the cultures of Vietnam and how people may dress. Now, I've done a quick internet search, a Google search, and what I've learned very swiftly was that in Vietnam there seems to be two different styles of the way people dress for weddings. Typically it'll either be traditional, so people will often wear, or the groom will often wear, a brightly coloured silken sarong type garment, a sort of a highly embroidered, very attractive, traditionally a national dress, but very colourful and very much Vietnamese, I guess. Or, and in equal number, I see that in Vietnamese weddings, Western attire is equally acceptable. So I've seen as many images of traditional dress where people have been wearing, say, a Western style suit with a collar and tie. So it gives you a lot of flexibility here. We're not going to be limited to buying something which is going to look out of place. So if I was you, and I'm putting myself in your position now, if I have received this invitation to go to Vietnam and participate in this wedding ceremony, I would personally be looking at a linen suit in a very simple style. So two-piece suit, 2 buttons on the front, notch lapel, maybe even patch pockets, something which is traditionally seen as a summer garment. I'm saying linen because linen is obviously, it's a very porous material and it aids the dispersal of perspiration. So if you're sweating heavily, if it's a hot day, you're going to feel much more comfortable in a linen suit. And also it's traditionally worn in warmer climates. So, you know, it's the right thing to wear in that country. Colour wise, I would opt for either a khaki colour, so traditional sort of neutral colour, maybe towards the darker end of khaki rather than the light, or I would go for something, maybe a green, again something, you know, that can be worn in a hot climate, or maybe a blue, towards the lighter shade of blue, maybe a true blue linen suit, because as you said, this allows flexibility afterwards. So it's a nice suit that can be dressed up very nicely, right? Simple suit, 2-button, single-breasted, notched lapel, very easy to wear in a number of situations. The way, well, what I would pair with that, definitely some sort of brown shoe. So, you know, as all of those different colours which I've just described will go very nicely with maybe a brown brogue. You want to go suede, that's perfectly acceptable in a warm climate, but a brown suede brogue, something like that, is going to be the perfect ensemble. For a shirt, maybe a white shirt, maybe a light blue shirt, maybe a pink shirt. You've got a lot of choice here. Stay away from patterns and stripes and things like that, because they just add unnecessary distraction from your simplicity of your outfit. Now, where you can tip a nod to the Vietnamese culture is to get a tie, a silken tie perhaps, which is brightly coloured, maybe embroidered, maybe purchased locally when you get there, which is more reflective of the traditional culture. And that tie, worn with that more traditional Western suit, will be a great ensemble. Go for a pocket square. If you're not sure of what to do, go for simple white pocket square. Likely you'll be wearing a boutonniere perhaps as part of the wedding ceremony, but if you're not, you might wish to make a choice in that direction. So keep it simple. Yeah, you don't need to get too stressed about this. Simple, local nod with the tie perhaps, or maybe the pocket square, that's all you need to do. Now finally, you've said there's a budget, £200. Where would I suggest you go to get a linen suit as I've described at that price point? Well, two places immediately spring to mind. Firstly, and the route that most people take, would be to go to a large department store, and as you say you're British, I would suggest Marks and Spencer's. It's the largest, best known department store in the UK, and around about springtime, as I'm filming this now in sort of March, April time, around about now, the big department stores start to bring out their summer collections, and there's always going to be a linen suit in the collection in Marks and Spencer's. Maybe a different range of colours, but normally I would think they would be around about the £200 to £250 price point. Now what you can do within that budget is get yourself that suit, but never forget to invest a little bit extra money in getting that budget suit adjusted to fit you perfectly. Take it to the local seamstress or the tailor and get the sleeves to fit just right. Get the drape of the trousers and the length of the trouser leg to fit perfectly. And that way you can turn an inexpensive looking suit into a smart suit. It's all about the fit, that's the secret. Sometimes a cheap suit, which has been adjusted to fit you well, can look just as good as a £1,000 suit that doesn't fit properly. Always factor in that adjustment into your prices and you're going to look great. You know, that's all you need to do. And one of those suits, if you have a khaki one or a green one or a blue one, they're going to be very flexible when you come back to the UK. You know, if you're going to Wimbledon to watch the tennis or a horse track, that suit is going to look great. It's going to cover you for a plethora of social events, so you're not just buying it for one event, you're going to look great. Now my final suggestion for you, sir, is to pose one more question to the groom, which will really help steer you. Ask him what he's going to wear, because they might feel uncomfortable in telling you what to wear, because in essence it's like saying go out and buy a suit, and some people, you know, they don't want to do that. It sounds pretentious. But if you simply pose the question, what are you wearing on the big day? you'll get a really good idea. If they're wearing traditional attire, well, your linen suit's going to be great. If they're wearing a Western style suit, it's going to fit in well. Your problem is if they say they're going to wear a black tie or a white tie, because the contrast then between you and them is going to be a bit extreme. And maybe we need to think again about what we're going to wear. But, you know, pose the question to the groom, and I don't think they could feel conscious by saying, well, you know, I'm going to be wearing a traditional Vietnamese sarong type outfit. Then you know you're fine. If he says a white tie, you know, a white dinner suit, tuxedo, then we're having second thoughts. But then eBay comes along, which is my second suggestion. If you can't go to the department store, go to our good friend eBay and look for something in the pre-owned world which you can pick up for a song and again have it adjusted, and you may find it even a better option than going to the department store. So there we go. Niles, I hope that advice was of some use to you. I hope your event goes swimmingly. I'd love to hear more about it afterwards. Send me an image of what you wear on the big day. I'd love to see it. If you've enjoyed the video today, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more like this. Contribute by posing me a question of your own sartorial dilemma. And you can do that by sending me an email or by leaving me a question in the comment section. And if you'd like to support the channel, buy me a coffee or become a patron. If you're a patron, you get extra videos as well, and you'll see my patrons' names at the end of this video. And to find out how to do all of that, look in the show notes below. So until the next time, for Niles and all of you attending a wedding this summer, look your very best and make the day special. Until then, take care, and I will see you again very soon.